I'm gonna go watch the Avengers. I just got back from watching the Avengers. Assemble America. I'm Zach Nanimus, and once again you've stepped into the War Room. I am doing yet another reaction, completely off the cuff, because I want something very honest. I want an honest reaction to exactly how I feel about the new Avengers movie. I just saw it a number of hours ago, admittedly, so it's not as fresh, but I've had some time to collect my thoughts on it, and here they are. Whether you like it or not. So I'd like to start by saying that there are going to be spoilers in this video. I am going to speak honestly about it, and if you're worried about spoilers, go watch the Avengers and then come back. Now! Oh my god! Did you see the part where they were headed super? So the first thing I want to say is that I really liked this movie. The most important reason that I liked this movie has to be that it surprised me. When the movie starts off, you know, you've got Baron von Strucker and all of his Nazi-esque trappings and airs that he put on in the Easter egg from the last Avengers movie are gone. He's now a more modernized leader of a terrorist cell, you know, and when I saw it, I was just kind of let down. I felt like it was just going to be another, you know, humdrum terrorist plot because, you know, all the bad guys and everything right now are terrorists, and I thought it was going to be pretty run-of-the-mill, and I was like, please, don't let von Strucker, at least this von Strucker, be the bad guy. Because when I saw this movie today, I had just rewatched Iron Man 3 like 2 nights ago. And the thing that I remember most about that movie is absolutely not caring about the bad guy. I just don't care. I forgot his name. The AIM guy is Vandal Savage, sure. So I was like, please don't make this be a big movie about Von Strucker. And exactly like as I was thinking that, Captain America just punched that part of the movie just right in the face. And I was so satisfied by that. And yeah, to a degree, I was giving myself some... To a degree, I was allowing myself some suspension of disbelief because it's not like I hadn't seen all the promos or any of the taglines of the movie that was shouting at me, this movie's about Ultron, but I was afraid of Von Strucker being a much bigger part, and, you know, that was fine. Then Ultron comes along, and from almost the get-go, you know what Ultron's all about. Ultron, he starts as a program, and then eventually inhabits one of the Stark Centurion suits, and because he's, like, malformed, it's one of the beat-up ones, and he's just kind of, there are no strings, Tony. Tony Stark made Ultron in a cave out of a box of scrap! From the very beginning, it's pretty obvious that this is going to be a story about an AI who has been given the task of making his domain free of whatever. You know, bad grooves. That's what the kids say nowadays, bad grooves. All things that are not keen. So I was let down by that concept because it's just this Asimov tale that we were told in iRobot, that we were told in Tron Legacy. I was afraid that this was going to be run-of-the-mill, just like I was with Von Strucker. I was worried about, you know, seeing something ultimately predictable. Once Ultron becomes fully formed, because, you know, he does start off with a bit of a marionette thing going on, because he can barely move himself in the original suit he puts in. He's got sort of a... But when Ultron is fully formed and he no longer is dependent on broken Stark tech, and he's manufactured his own robotic body that's got the Fangades and the double eyes and very articulate mouth that has all of the facial features that you would want out of a sinister robot, and then you've got James Spader breathing just so much life into the character that you can't help but like him. And that is exactly what I was missing out of Iron Man 3. It was a character that I genuinely liked to hate. Ultron really delivered in that respect. If there's a blemish on the movie, I'll say this: the special effects take a backseat, and I'm not saying that they use more practical effects in the movie. They don't. They use an awful lot of CG. Oh, the problem is that the frame rate, particularly on Ultron in his non-action scenes, seems to be off. He's just kind of got this sort of. It's an odd reference, but if you've ever seen the movie Monster House, that's an excellent example of CG that's just got a weird frame rate where you can just barely see that it's choppy. And so, like, when he's just pontificating and being James Spader, he's got a lot of just, I've got no strings to hold me down, to make me laugh or make me frown. You know, and it's just weird. The other problem that I had with some of the special effects was that Days of Future Past got Quicksilver right. They just got him right, just spot on. And in this one, the special effect that they have going on is that, you know, he leaves like a blue streak, and that's how you know something happened. But the thing is, like, it's much slower than him. It's like he's leaving something behind, like he's farting the entire time. Just sort of, rah! Maybe he's exfoliating. It might just be hair and stuff. I mean, Wanda looks great, but, you know, she's red lasers. It's difficult to mess that up. On the plus side with Wanda and Pietro, they did a really cool thing. Instead of making them eerily similar to their comic book counterparts, is they made them from an Eastern European country of Sokovia. And they were like refugees. They had like this sob story about Tony Stark and stuff like that, and that's what drew them to Von Strucker, and then eventually drew them to Ultron. You know, as bad guys, and it really played really well. And of course, the actors did a fabulous job. My only problem with with those characters, Ultron and Quicksilver, would be the special effects and their artistry. And I would say this for the entire movie. This is an example of when there are a few nitpicky hiccups with the technical side of things, but the artistry of the directing, the cinematography, the writing, the acting, everything shines through to make it an ultimately enjoyable experience. Talking about tech that just went right, then Vision hits the scene, and they went just all of the perfect directions that you can go with Vision if it's going to be a departure from the comics, and including making Jarvis the AI, which I absolutely loved. And, you know, when he hits the scene, he's got this kind of okay monologue, and I think Joss Whedon could kind of feel that when he was writing it, because, you know, they don't know whether to trust him, and so he says a few pithy things about the nature of man, and blah, 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 and then in the end, Joss Whedon's like, you know what, then he picks up Mjolnir. That ought to shut him up. It's the way it felt. And, like, in the end, he picks up Mjolnir, and he shows it to him, and he's like, well, let's go. And he's not saying that this is mine now. He's like giving it to Thor. He's like, yeah, get your crap off the floor and go beat Thor. That's right, this is a Jarvis of puns. It immediately endears you to the Jarvis, which has become the Vision, who's got the Infinity Stone. He can make capes out of nothing. They included his phase ability right at the end, which I didn't think they were going to do. It was super subtle, but super satisfying. The thing is that somehow, through all iterations, across all media, Jarvis, I would say probably Jarvis and Coulson, have been the two things in the cinematic universe which are just universally loved. And now we get the action figure! Ah! One of the consequences for putting Jarvis into Vision is that we lose Jarvis as a program. He's now an entity. He's now the Vision. And all of his memory and resources are going towards being a fully working AI. So Iron Man needs a new he needs a new AI, and he whips up, and I thought this was interesting. He whips up a program called Friday, and Friday seems a little bit more robotic than Jarvis was, and that makes sense for something that was made on the fly. Jarvis was perfected over years, and now you have Friday, who for some reason she's Scottish. I don't know what it is with Tony. Yeah, apparently he can't listen to an American accent for too long. Sorry, Pepper. All I could think was, if you had the chance to save Sokovia, would you? Hawkeye, it's just my boo. But like I said, Friday was very effective for what she was, and I'm excited to see her in the next Iron Man. Getting to that, at the end of the movie, we see a parting of ways. We see Thor, for whatever reasons Thor has for anything, has to go back to Asgard. And then we have Tony going elsewhere, and everybody's like saying these goodbyes except for Cap and Black Widow, and they are in the new Avengers compound, not Shield. If you remember from Winter Soldier, Shield's meh. It's meh. It's big. Hail Hydra! So they're the new Avengers compound, and everybody's left except for Cap and Black Widow. They go out and he's calling in the team, all of the new friends that we've accrued over the last 5 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The real one, the Disney one. It ends with Cap saying Avengers, and then they let you down. He never says a simple. But what this says to me is that the next Avengers movie could quite possibly be a new Avengers movie. And I don't mean latest, I mean comic book run New Avengers. When, they cycled out from some of the originals and went a different direction. And I don't think that these movies are ready for a big overhaul. I need some more Robert downtime. I mean, the core Avengers, the ones that we're used to, the ones that we've had so far, I think they at least need a trilogy, if not a quadrilogy. What's the word for 4 of them? They need a far quad. I think that they could go 4 movies without jumping the shark. I really do, and I'd like to see it, especially since they're popping these movies out really quick now. All that said, The Avengers is absolutely worth your time. It's worth 1 or 2 viewings in the theater, and it's worth the DVD or digital download.
Go see the goddamn movie.
You're absolutely going to enjoy it, and that's my take on it. I hope you liked it. If you did enjoy this video, I would like you to pretty please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment for us. It really does help us out quite a bit. And the last time I asked for it, 2 of you beautiful warriors delivered. So, a very special thank you to 46 and 47. How's it going? And now I think it's time to say goodbye, everybody! Say goodbye!
Goodbye, everybody! Hey, it's me.